What if I told you that your day job is not a hindrance or a barrier, but it is one of your biggest advantages? It's your unfair advantage in launching a successful short term or midterm rental. Hello, hello. My name is Dr. Rachel Gainsbrugh, and I am obsessed with all things rentals, revenue streams, and helping you navigate your career, real estate, and your busiest and most wonderful seasons of life. So grab your coffee, get comfortable as you get ready to learn and grow with me. This is the Luxury Rental Doctor podcast. Welcome, 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 everyone. Today, we are talking about the 9 to 5. Many of you are actually joining me while you are here at your 9 to 5. I can't tell you how grateful I am for you to tap in with me every other week when we go live on this call. But if you're caught in a 9 to 5 grind, just dreaming of breaking into real estate, but you're kind of terrified or rather mortified at the thought of leaving your job. What if I told you that your day job is not a hindrance or a barrier, but it is one of your biggest advantages? It's your unfair advantage in launching a successful short term or midterm rental. What if I told you that? Because that is the absolute truth. I truly, truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. And today, what I want to do is debunk the myths that a lot of us are being held back with so that you can uncover how having that stable 9 to 5 income can be your secret weapon to diving into the real estate game. And we're going to go ahead and dive right in. All right, so welcome everyone. Let's talk about how to strategically leverage your 9 to 5 into one of your biggest advantages, your unfair advantage. So, first and foremost, when I was getting started with real estate, it was my 9 to 5 that we leverage on a number of levels. We leverage our savings, we leverage bonus checks from our 9 to 5, we leverage our work history. That's why it's so important not to rage quit your job. Even if things are a little bit dicey, do not rage quit your job because your work history is oh so very important in getting some of that funding and some of the most affordable funding that is out there. Okay. So I highly recommend that you really take a look at while you are at the 9 to 5, take a look at launching your very first or next short-term rental. Many of you are higher income earners. You're in the healthcare field. We have a lot of attorneys in our community and in our network, engineers, just a variety of professionals. And because of that higher income, because of those amazing bonus checks, some of our members are generating anywhere from $150,000 a year W-2 to $400,000 a year W-2. Well, because of those really nice incomes, you are taxed at a higher rate, right? And so short-term rentals specifically, there is legislation that helps hedge against taxes as well. So that's another hidden way that we find money in our business. So what does it take to get started with launching your very first rental? Okay, a lot of you are very, very familiar. You're very well acquainted, but some of you are like, okay, what is this thing that Rachel keeps talking about week after week? So, for those of you who are new, I want to take a step back and let you know that you can launch a luxury short term or midterm rental in as little as 12 weeks. Okay, so many of the students in our community have done so. So, here's how you do it. First and foremost, is you nail down which market you are going to invest in, whether you're going to invest in your own backyard, whether it's a property that you already have access to that you can reposition as a rental, whether it's a property that your family or relative may have access to, something that they already own, or if you're going to purchase your property outright, depending on what your financial situation is, you have a variety of strategies and you have a variety of, I would say, yeah, let's keep it at strategies or tactics rather. However, my favorite strategy to getting started is leveraging a 10% down loan. Okay, so I use a second home loan, 10% down. So if I'm purchasing a property for $300,000, y'all, it's going to be $30,000 that I need to have as my down payment. Now, my very first property, I leveraged what's called a house hack for one of our very first properties, meaning we lived in the vast majority of the property and we were able to rent out a guest suite. It's a two-bedroom guest suite. It had its own interests. I know safety is first, safety is an issue for sure, but based on who we were renting it to, based on our community, based on the area, the location, the demographic, we felt really comfortable with leveraging that strategy. It is not a one size fits all, but it was fantastic, guys. So that was one of the stepping stones for us because what that afforded us is imagine your monthly mortgage plus and then some is paid for, right? And all for a small percentage down. You're leveraging a small percentage down to get your foot in the door. So 10% down is what we use for our investment properties. But if it's a property that we're residing in, our own ourselves, we were able to leverage even smaller percentage down, like a 3.5% down, which was far less than the 30,000. And that helps a lot, guys. That helps a lot. You're able to build up cash flow, save up for your next property, and have funding for that 10% down for the investment play. Okay. So, first and foremost, funding, funding, funding. Do not go out there speaking with dozens of real estate agents without having your pre approval letter in hand, without having your funding, which is pretty much ironed out because you're not going to be taken seriously. Okay. And we are in an environment where we're going to start to see the interest rates start to come down. And as the interest rates come down, guys, it's going to be far more competitive to get into a property. So your goal is to ensure that all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed if you're looking to get started into the short-term rental, midterm rental game. Okay, so that's that. Have your funding in place with the W-2. You're able to raise that capital a little bit faster than if you did not have a W-2. So very important. The second thing about W-2 I mentioned a little bit earlier is having that work history. Having a work history of 2 or more years is to your advantage. It really helps you to go through the funding process, go through the loan approval process, underwriting, all of that, because it is treacherous, my friends. Having a loan for a property and closing on a property, that whole process is very, very treacherous and difficult. And if you do not have your I's dotted and your T's crossed, if you don't have the work history, it's a lot of maneuvering to get you into that property. And I want to ensure that your time is being used in the most effective way possible. I want to ensure that you're able to close on a property. And in order for that to happen, you want to make sure that the funding is in place. And for funding to be in place, work history, the 9 to 5, leveraging that 9 to 5 strategically is to your advantage. Okay. All right. So the second thing that I think is really advantageous, Parkinson's law state that the work expands to the time that is available. And what I found is that while I was working my 9 to 5, I was like, oh my gosh, if only I didn't have a 9 to 5, I would have all this time to do all these things, right? However, there's something about being put in a box and having a deadline to contend with, okay? Because the work does expand to the time that is allotted. And so while I had my 9 to 5, I became a time management master. Okay. I don't know how else to say it. I became a time management master. I had a certain number of hours to look up properties. I had a certain number of hours to make my decision. I had only a few hours to go and visit properties. Whereas I got to tell you, without the 9 to 5, with all the flexibility that I now have, things are a little bit looser. It's loosey goosey, and I have to put in my own guardrails to ensure that I'm still as productive as I want to be. So the next, I would say, pillar, let's call it a pillar. The next pillar of leveraging your 9 to 5 strategically to take advantage of investing in real estate is it forces you to build sustainable systems. I would say the next segment, I want to talk a little bit about the systems that we built in our business that allowed us to sustainably build our short-term rental, mid-term rental business. It's going to be really important to not only establish the systems, but to identify, well, what is going to be a good fit for me? What is going to be a good fit for my lifestyle, for what it is I'm trying to accomplish? And here's why. There's shiny object syndrome out there, right? I know I had it when I first started off with real estate investing. While you're going to school, your head's down, you're focused, you're in residency, your head's down, you're focused, you're on call, you're doing your rounds, your head's down, you're focused. And all of a sudden, you take a peek and you're looking around at this real estate game, and it is this buffet, it's this potpourri of all of these amazing, beautiful, wonderful options, right? To invest in real estate. You have fellow colleagues who are talking about the multifamily deal, the industrial deal, all the deals, amazing deals that are out there, right? However, you need to take a step back. Just because everyone else is doing it does not mean it's going to be a good fit for you, for your lifestyle, for your family. Okay. Are you a caregiver? Do you have small children? Are you caring for ailing adults? Are you an attending? Are you a new grad? Like, you need to figure out what is going to be in alignment with you for this season of your life. And what I've learned, because we've been investing since 2018, what I've learned is that not all seasons are the same, but I'm grateful that I've had great mentorship where I stayed in my lane. My lane has been the luxury short-term rental realm, and it has served me well. Okay. And once we have successfully transacted in the luxury short-term rental, we expanded a little bit into luxury mid-term rental, more of the same, my friends. Okay. Repeat and refine. Just keep repeating the same thing and refining. Okay. All right. All this to say is find out which strategy is in the most alignment with you. And for me, it's all about return on energy. Okay. So I didn't ditch my 9 to 5 so that I can work 24 hours a day. And I'm not encouraging, again, we're talking about 9 to 5. I'm not encouraging anyone to ditch your 9 to 5. Return on energy. What is the return on energy? What is your return on energy? And I know ROI, return on income, is very important. Return on investment is very important, but I also look at the return on energy, the return on enjoyment. I assess what it is that I'm doing on a day basis, and I question myself. I stress test it and I say, okay, can I see myself doing this for the next 10 years of my life, right? And part of that is building a sustainable business. I'm not going to build a business that's requiring me to grind it out extra hard for a long period of time. All right. So let's talk about it. We've covered funding, we've covered time management. Now we're talking about sustainable systems to help you build and grow. And what I love about the short term, midterm rental realm is that when I compared short term rentals to all of the other asset classes that were out there, I found that the return on income was the highest. But it is a hospitality business. It is a hospitality business. So the level of effort is higher as well. However, with the right systems, you can get back some of that time freedom. And one of the primary tools that we use to get some of that back is just automations, good old fashioned automations. We automate more than 50% of our messaging, and we've got it down to 1 to 2 messages per guest that we manually send out from our assistant. So if you're just getting started, my philosophy is, how do I own and operate the fewest number of properties that generates the highest profitability? And so you're not going to find me chasing down 200 doors that are lackluster or 400 doors that are lackluster. Our goal is to find the 1 or 2 doors that makes a difference in our bottom line. So I was in the coaching call last week. We have coaching calls inside of our community every Tuesday. And Dr. C, because of a hot tub repair, she didn't hit her cash flow goal that much for her one property. And her goal is 5K per month. She hit it throughout, but a hot tub repair kind of impacted that cash flow. So 5K is the goal that I have for our community. 5K per month per property is the net cash flow goal Your mileage will vary depending on the type of property, the location, the seasonality. There are a number of factors we underwrite for 5K. That is the goal. That's what we're looking for. Otherwise, it's like, what are we doing all this work for, right? All that work. We're not doing it for $500 per month. I'm going to tell you that for sure. Okay. So, really, really important understanding what those bits of information, understanding what those metrics are to make sure that you're hitting your cash flow goals, and you're building a sustainable business that's going to provide you sustainable growth without completely burning you out, burning both candles at both ends. Okay. All right. So with that, guys, those are the primary, I would say, ways that we are leveraging our 9 to 5 and how we were able to build a 7 figure short term, midterm rental business while working full time. At our 9 to 5, we actually built 2 7 figure businesses while working full time 9 to 5. We leverage our personal brand to do so as well. And we're not going to dive into that quite yet. Okay, so I had an opportunity to speak with Dr. Gabriella. Dr. Gabby in the house. I just was checking in with some of our members last week, and it was so good. She's leveraging her 9 to 5 as well and building her midterm rental business. On her days off, she's able to take advantage of some vacation days just to give herself a little bit of breathing room. And what is she doing on those off days? Well, what I love about her is she is she lives on the West Coast. She lives in California, and she is investing here in Georgia by me. And she's able to just connect with a community, connect with other midterm rental hosts, because one of the best ways to continue to get those bookings and to have that 97, 98, 100% occupancy is to be a part of a network where deals are being shared back and forth. And so that's what she opted to do. I absolutely love it. Sophia, she's an attorney in our community. Now, Dr. Gabby, I mentioned a little bit earlier, she's OBGYN out of the Lake Tahoe area. Now, Sophia, she is an attorney for the federal government. What I love about Sophia is she carves out her time to show up, to make sure she's showing up in the rooms. Okay, so what I mean by that is, I remember a couple of Decembers ago, I held a midterm rental wealth retreat in Destin, Florida. Oh my goodness, it was an absolute game changer. Well, when Sophia joined us, she had carved out some time from work. This is what she does on her vacation. And thank goodness, guys, if you saw us on social media, when we hold our wellness retreats, we go in. You're gonna work hard, but you're gonna play hard as well. So when we held our wellness retreat in December, she was able to come back, and by February, she had her midterm rental booked from February to December. Okay, so 11 months of bookings. And because of that, she was then able to change her trajectory, shift gears, and say, okay, my midterm rental is set. Now, let me focus on my short term rental strategy. Okay. Introducing the two door strategy. And I coined it to Sophia. She's the one who really solidified it for me, because this is a strategy that we had been using for years and years. And I mentioned a little bit earlier, our philosophy is, how do we own and operate the fewest number of properties that generates the highest profitability? And I believe in the two door strategy. You have one midterm rental, you have one short term rental. And so Sophia was able to then shift gears and focus and say, now, Dr. Rachel, let's focus on my short term rental strategy. And I said, bet, let's do it. And so here's what we did: we started to analyze different markets. Okay. So my next philosophy is, I want to have cash flow coming in every single month. So if there is a market that's a little bit more favorable to specific season, I want to have a property that is in a market that's opposite of that, so that every single month there's cash flow coming in. So what does that mean? I want rentals in the Poconos. I want rentals on the beach. I want rentals all over, right? Year round. I want year round. I want to make money every single day. I want to see something, a payout coming in every single day of the year. How do I make that happen? Right. And it's covering all the seasons. And Sophia says, okay, I like that as well. So her very first property we put an offer on was in a beach market. It was a beach condo. This was in March, and it was so competitive. We didn't get it. April, we just started looking. We found a couple more, nothing. May, we finally found the one, put in an offer. June, she closed on the property. Guys, when she closed in June, let me tell you something. She got a 0% down, 7.8% interest. Don't love the interest, but 0% down. And she was able to transact and close on that deal. And the property needed some TLC. We needed to force a little love, force a little appreciation into that property, meaning a little bit of renovation, a little bit of repairs, nothing too crazy. I don't like huge renovations for people who are looking for cash flow now. For those who are looking for cash flow now, we're not doing huge renovations, okay? However, the property had about $30,000 worth of bookings already because it was a previous short-term rental. This particular property was a previous short-term rental. So therefore, because of that, I said, Sophia, no, ma'am, we're not going to make any changes. We're not going to make any renovations. We want that 30K to come into the fold. And once that is complete, you know what? That's a wrap. We will work with the property during the off season, which is like October, November, and then we would get it up to par so that the following summer we can leverage it and charge what we know that the property deserves. Okay. So that was such a huge win. And for me, that was an aha moment. Again, Sophia would leverage her 9 to 5. She works as an attorney for the federal government, and she used that strategy of her 9 to 5 to not only purchase one but two rentals in a short period of time. And our next foray is she's looking for a property in a mountain region. Okay, absolutely love that. I have another member of our community. She's an architect. Okay, so Veronica. Now, this is something that I don't think I've actually covered, but Veronica, what I love about her is her expertise as an architect was really allowed her to understand this particular midterm rental claim. So there's a family in her community whose skylight on their home started to leak and the water had seeped through the entire property, right? So once the water had seeped through, it just permeated all throughout and the house is down to the studs. Okay. Because of her expertise as an architect, although she was told that it's going to take a couple of months to get this property up and running and back to working order, she clearly saw the opportunity and recognized no, 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 it's going to take 6 months to get this property up and running. And so, for those of you who have renovation and fix and flip, or if you're a contractor, if that is your background, you can totally, I know you're totally picking up what I'm putting down, but this is another opportunity that someone is using, their 9 to 5 acumen to say, hey, wait, something's fishy here. This is not a 1 month project. This is not a 2 month project. This is more like a 5 to 6 month project. And so she was able to broker an amazing deal for herself to make sure that the family got a property and booked it for 5 to 6 months and with that expectation at least, as opposed to the 1 to 2 months that they were being touted that it would take to fix this particular property. And so we have stories like this, guys, time and time again, of members of our community that come back to us and say, hey, oh my gosh, hey, Dr. Rachel, I'm an interventional cardiologist, Dr. Ryan. Shout out to you, Dr. Ryan. And Dr. Hasina. Dr. Ryan's an interventional cardiologist. Dr. Hasina is an oncologist out of the Indianapolis market. And again, leveraging the W2. So now Dr. Ryan, he works locum tenens, and I can't wait to have him on for an interview, but he works locum tenens. And in between his time, as he's waiting for his schedule, he's able to bop around, take a look at properties, shop properties, speak with contractors, and he's essentially in the process of renovating their second luxury short-term rental. Their first luxury short-term rental we launched back in, I want to say July, and it's been crushing. And they're like, we want another one, we want another one, we want another one. So again, using that W-2 in a variety of ways, leveraging time management, leveraging your schedule. I know it's not fun, but it is worth it, guys. And I just wanted to come in here and be kind of an encouragement and let you know that it's possible. You can totally do it. We have so many success stories in our community of individuals who are working a 9 to 5. I got to tell you, those who are working a 9 to 5 are crushing it. Those who aren't working a 9 to 5 are still killing it. Those who are entrepreneurs are still killing it because they're doing the thing. Either way, it's just been amazing. Now, it's come, of course, with challenges, right? Time management challenges. It's come with deadline challenges and so on and so forth. And that's why I think it's really important to be a part of a community, a part of a network where you can hold each other accountable. I know that our communities, there's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of information out there. We have all the roadmaps. We have all the game plans in the world. But when you're in it, when you're actually in the thick of it, and you get that inquiry from the insurance company, it's like, Dr. Rachel, what do I do now? Break glass. In case of emergency, break glass. So that's what I think our network and our community is. It's one of those, oh my gosh, I just got the inquiry. What do I do right here, right now? And that's where we can come alongside you and be that support for you so that you're not out here feeling like you're on your own, you're on an island, you're the only one going through this because our network, we've had over 2,000 members go through our programs, which has been an incredible journey, guys. You have no idea. This is one of my life's greatest honor is to provide you these insights, provide you this information in a palatable, digestible format so that you can know exactly what to do next during your journey. Okay. All right. So those are some of the perks of the 9 to 5. I'm not going to dive too much into the challenges. Y'all know the challenges. Y'all are working it. All righty, guys. So that's all I have for you. I love you all to the moon. I really hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful rest of your week. I appreciate you. All righty, guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.